Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb. I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines.
We are back! Second set of the night. Let's hope this one gets played to the fullest. I am Anthony Malum. He is KingFsher. Let's get into the picks and the bans.
Yeah, and already in picks and bans, we see kind of a trend, honestly, with both of these teams. Hades is the top ban for Life of the Afterparty, and Khepri for Wild Inferno. Both of them already taken out. And wow, they are moving quick, and it's a Thor top lock. Not something we see a lot of.
Yeah, because, you know, you and I have talked a bunch about this Thor being the first pick. It opens up a lot, but it can tend to lead to an attempt at being counterpicked. You can't really directly counterpick a Thor because, you know, ultimately what makes Thor strong is a variety of things. But we have seen team comps try to prepare for it when it gets first picked.
Right, yeah, and I think a lot of CC immunity, a lot of self-peel are two of the things that really come to the foresight when you're talking about dealing with a Thor. There's not much you can do to mitigate him on the ground or in the air, so you kind of just gotta set yourself up for the best chance at living. And I think the one reason why I do like a Thor picked so highly here would be that it's really diverse. It can go into a lot of different roles. I've seen it in support, solo, jungle, and two that don't flex into a lot of different roles, a Cthulhu and an Ishtar.
Is that the first Ishtar that we've seen? Because it feels like it. I've been wondering and waiting when we would see that character make its way into the Premier League. Because, I mean, I haven't casted one personally. And I like it. The character's in a fairly good spot, so I'm excited to see it get picked up.
Yeah, I want to say I've seen it before, but I don't think I have. Maybe in Challenger we've seen it.
Yeah.
But in Premier, not hitting the mine, and two picks we saw a lot of last game, and two picks that were looking really good. It's a Cupid and a Camazotz. This is an insanely strong top three looking at Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, it's a really good selection. We saw the Camazotz be strong earlier. The rotations that came out of the character were very powerful, and they took a lot of control of the map.
Yeah, they definitely did, and I think rotation, along with that Thor and the Camazotz combined, it's going to be really strong. And last game, we saw Camazotz in the jungle. Do you think Kama's going back to the jungle, or would you expect Thor there? It's a Cernunnos pick.
On the other end of the spectrum of me getting so annoyed when I see an X-Ball is the Cernunnos for KingFsher here. But to answer your question before we get into the Cernunnos talk, I hope that this Camazotz goes to the solo lane in this context, because I love Thor in the jungle with that ultimate, just kind of making all the lanes afraid at once.
Yeah, and without being too biased about the Cernunnos pick, I do think it's a pretty good one into this team. The cripple is going to be huge on the Cupid and the Camazotz. And also the polymorph. I mean, 2 of those gods go to the skies when they ult. That's our CC immunity. Cupid doesn't have any, so I think the rest of this draft definitely gonna have to get some for on the ground. I think really underrated just how badly that can hurt a team, and being an ADC gets an insane amount of damage off. But some odd jungle bans coming out. It's a Neja and a Pele.
Yeah, it's weird to me because I feel like while those characters are good and we've seen them be good, they haven't been, you know, monsters. They aren't something that you need to prioritize to get out of there. I feel like there was some better picks, but with that being said, I don't think they would have banned out a Humbots, assuming that gets locked in. So I guess it kind of worked out. Maybe they were looking for the Pele or the Neja, and the Humbots is kind of a backup plan.
Yeah, maybe. I think Neja is probably the strongest of the 3, but Hunbots is still really good in this meta. And one really good jungler, it was the Dodgy banned out. Wild Inferno is banned Dodgy, I think, 80% of the time. So definitely sticking with that trend. And at this point, you gotta think maybe that's not a comfort pick. Do you think Dodgy is the best jungler in this current meta that we're in?
See, for me, I've always, maybe this is a me thing and just the games I've been in, I've always found it not easy to play around a Dodgy, because Dodgy controls the map, controls a lot, but I'm sorry, I'm dropping the Dodgy point if this Kuzenbo gets locked in. I have never wanted to go and lock a character in for another player so bad when casting in the SDL. I want to see this Kuzenbo so bad. Okay, I guess I will answer it because it's just being hovered. I don't think it's the strongest in my mind. I feel like we've seen some things be better, especially in this league specifically. So maybe it wasn't. Are you kidding me? Is that an Anubis?
It's a really fun game if the Anubis gets locked in. And I think, honestly, the Anubis wouldn't... Oh, they baited us. It's a Vulcan. I was going to say, there's not a ton of really big dot damage on the side of Wild Inferno to kind of punish them for locking an Anubis. But a Vulcan, gonna be a really good pick. And a Mulan to finish it out. The roles on this Chaos side team are looking a bit peculiar.
Yeah, this is sort of a tough one to predict out. I almost expect to see a Mulan support. I feel like that could be a different take than we've seen, but things could be so crazy in Premier that could also be a Cthulhu jungle. So it could be a Mulan ADC for all we know, given the Premier League.
It definitely could be. I mean, I've seen Joy Wolf go Cthulhu jungle. I don't know how successful it was, but it's possible. I think my best guess would probably be Ishtar in the mid lane, and like you said, maybe a Mulan solo Cthulhu support, or vice versa.
Yeah, I agree. I am really excited to see this Kuzenbo, though. We haven't seen one, and Kuzenbo is a character that there's a lot of weirdness and funkiness to, but I think ultimately it could end up being really affected. I really like the Kuzenbo into a double ADC comp in particular.
Yeah, definitely really strong and so much CC and really good value that Kuzenbo brings. Looking at the enemy team, there's not a whole lot to slow it down. Pretty CC light when we're talking about it. I mean, they got a Fear No Evil and a Mulano, and that's just about the big CC from that team.
Yeah, and with that, I think we've talked about just about everything that we are ready to see, so we will meet you in the game for game number 1. We've got Life of the Afterparty. We've got Wild Inferno on week 4 premiere action. I'm Anthony Malum. He is still KingFsher. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it indeed. And it did look, gosh, I hope you were right. I think that is going to be a Cernunnos ADC and an Ishtar mid, and it does appear to be, and I think I like that a lot more. Cernunnos only has that one real good wave clear ability, and it is body blocked pretty easy. It's kind of hard to get the angle right. So I think sending Ishtar to mid lane with the big enhanced autos and that moving mez is a lot better choice.
Yeah, I like Cernunnos being able to kind of hang out in the dual lane, do his thing, farm up, and show up late game and do damage.
Yeah, all ADCs do damage pretty well, and all ADCs are going with the same path. The Ishtar in mid doesn't look like they're itemizing towards, oh gosh, what's it called, ability damage. And I think pretty smart. It does look like it's going to be the standard into Devo's Gauntlet, and I would assume crit for all 3 hunters, so Spectral Armor this game, definitely going to be a big one.
Yeah, I agree. We are going to see that probably come out early and be effective. You know, much tamer start, though, than we saw in the previous set. There wasn't any crazy invades, nothing too shocking. Although in the solo lane, got to be careful there because Farries was falling low and quick. Was able to get out. Got to watch that in the solo. Back to the duo. Pressure went the side of Wild Inferno, but they weren't able to get anything massive off of it. We've seen that become kind of a common theme. Not many early first blood trades so far this season.
Yeah, and if you're the team that's not getting traded out for First Blood, you definitely like to see it. And looking at the Cthulhu, I really like the build path he's gone with. He's going to an early lifesteal item to kind of compete with that Camazotz in solo. I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be a Thor solo, so good intuition there from Chris. I think building the right way, but needs to make sure to get some defense in there at some point. I think seeing a trend of squishy solos has been happening a lot lately. As some mid 2v2s coming out, Life of the Afterparty clears wave first.
Wild Inferno got pushed back quite a bit. Peer Pressure took a lot of damage at some point over in the duo lane, so probably has to play it a bit safe. They can't look to get too much aggression. They will pull that XP camp, though. Oh, no solo lane, though. Chris getting out just barely. A lot of brawls so far, but not really any kills to follow up, which is kind of which I like to see. But now we've got a gank attempt from Midman on the Thor. Gonna catch Peer Pressure out. The wall is good. Oh, Peer Pressure was able to get out on the other side, was not stuck behind that wall like I initially thought. So the gank is going to be no good for Midman at 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it was a really good attempt at the wall there from Midman. Like you, I thought he was trapped on that side too. But I guess not, as the Emojo will, or no, sorry, the Mulan will walk away from that one. Ah, jeez. Oh, and it's an attempted buff invade, and they're going to get it here. Wild Inferno. Farries is going to be without the blue buff. And luckily, I don't think that hurts Camazotz as much as it hurts other solo lanes, especially with that tier 1 Transcendence.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the end of the world. It was a good response from Wild Inferno in response to the gank that went over in duo lane. So overall, good map control and awareness from Wild Inferno, and really still a tame start to this game. Much more like something you'd see in, you know, SPL, not SDL. We like to get things dirty and bloody early.
Hey, as close as we can make it to the SPL, the better, I think. And I love seeing that high competition from the players. Like I think you said last set, it was like 4 kills 2 minutes in, so definitely not the same. They try to get a little aggression onto Kuzumbo, but getting some return damage on the minions. That's one of Kuzumbo's abilities that's really unique. He has Shield of Thorns for free, as Ishtar dropping low in mid. Sehost has the ult, and we see him fling that around a lot.
Yeah, Sehost is a very liberal ulter on that Vulcan. We have seen that time and time again. And Pilot took a lot of damage very quick. Okay for now, but, you know, that Ishtar does not have an easy time against a Vulcan. That is a character that I would say probably could deal with an ADC in mid very easily, given the movement from Backfire now, the safety from the Meatball, the clear with Turret. Kind of a good matchup.
Yeah, and I really like all the Vulcan buffs recently as a pause does come out. He feels kind of like Hebo used to feel back in the day.
And with that, we'll be right back. We are not going to make you hang out and watch this pause. We are back in action quickly as Pilot has run into Sehost. Fear no evil goes on to Sehost. Ultimate from Vulcan in response. Sehost still alive. Pilot is the one who dies. First blood for life of the Afterparty. Sehost falls very quickly after to Eatzz, and it's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
Yeah, talk about a quick transition back in, and that's a great thought from Sehost, dropping that Earthshaker right before they die, and kind of enabling that Thor there to clean up Pilot on the Ishtar. It's a good job by the mid laner, keeping it 1-for-1, but the Hun Bats gets first blood. Now he has a slight level lead, looking for the blue invade again.
The wall comes down, a stun is good, but the Hoombots is not short of movement. Oh, in the dual lane, Migii gets a kill onto Lone Wolf. Thor ultimate comes down. It's a strong 2v2. Ultimates are out in the solo lane. Chris is up in that Cthulhu ultimate, though. Tough to kill, but he does get picked up by Farries. Big kill for the Kamazots. It's going to turn into a blue invade. Or maybe not. They're going to decide not to go for the blue invade. I find that kind of surprising.
Yeah, and there's that good old patented SDL aggression. You love to see it. As King Eatzz is going to secure the blue buff for Chris, and they did get that blue buff off successfully, so Farries, again, hasn't had the blue buff since 2 minutes in. Kamazots cannot be loving it, and on this other side now, this is what I like to see from Wild Inferno. They get a little bit of pressure. They did get that purple buff invade. They got the Interceptor. This is exactly the type of advantage you want to take when you're able to find those picks.
Yeah, Kerninos and Cupid are a very evenly matched dual lane. They kind of play off of each other in a way that it comes down to mechanical skill. So any small advantage you can get, even if it's, you know, a tier of an item, let alone some experience or some gold, like it can make a big difference in that lane.
Yeah, every little bit does help, and especially in duo, where I think people can really snowball just utterly out of control. So it'll be interesting to see if Nut is able to keep up with Migii here. I think both of these ADCs are not like your typical aggressive ADCs, but both of them can really put the damage out in a pinch. It's now Pilot trying to bait for the Hunbot Soul. Are we going to see it? Yes, we are.
Fear no evil, followed up by the slam. Pilot gets the KS onto the kill from the gank from King Eatzz. Good play there. That went well. Probably could have gone better for Eatzz overall. I think there was a chance they get Lone Wolf, but overall, good gank.
Yeah, a very good gank there. Lone Wolf, good on them. Able to survive, but that is going to be one more kill going to Wild Inferno. And the chemistry we see between the mid laner and the jungler, it's something we like to see a lot. I know we've talked about in the past weeks. Oh yeah, again, the third time. Oh, poor Farries. Is going to live this time, though, so good on them.
Thor ult comes down in mid. It's no good, but Pilot is stuck in a tough spot. Good damage comes out from Midman, but without the stun from the ultimate, it was not enough. Peer pressure shows up to try to alleviate some of that pressure from Pilot, but I guess gets to walk away for free. I'm surprised there wasn't more punishment for the Mulan for that pathing.
Yeah, definitely a little bit surprising, but that's what you like to see out of Wild Inferno. Able to stay safe, and now Farries tries for the blue invade, does get it, and gets away with his life. Great aggression from the Kamazots.
That is a blue buff for Farries. Clearly, his day is made in that solo lane. First one so far, except for that very first one. Very well done.
Yeah, definitely like to see Kamazots not getting discouraged by all the invades and definitely staying on their own, keeping that aggression up. But on the other side, Nut does not want any of it. Gonna concede that purple buff, but Wild Inferno don't look like they want it. Mulan showing face, and that... Oh, Lone Wolf coming over. It's going to be contested for sure.
Yeah, Nut was able to get safe with the dash, but Lone Wolf does not want to give up that purple for free. Going to push peer pressure away, get some healing onto the buff, but after a good effort from Lone Wolf, could not secure that purple buff. But now Midman's here, gets a stun onto Migii. Purification Beast had to come out. Kerninos ultimate as well. Polymorph Midman. Now Midman's one falling low. Vulcan ultimate finds nobody. Migii getting pushed around. Peer pressure getting damaged. Midman's got to get out of there. Now Nut gets a lot of damage from Ishtar, and Eatzz is here with the Fear No Evil. Lone Wolf is going to be next. It's a double kill for Eatzz. Looking for the Vulcan too, but not going to get greedy. Going to head the other way. Great rotation from the Hoombots there. Turns things around.
Yeah, and the ultimates from Eatzz have been so incredible. He's been finding consistent value. But looking at Life of the Afterparty, a couple of missed Thor dunks and a missed Earthshaker there from Sehost. It's going to open the door. Wild Inferno are going to take this Gold Fury at 8.5 minutes. And during the first set, we talked today about aggression on the different objectives. And when we seen him, we saw a 10-minute gold there. Thought it was early, but no, it's going to be a big 3,000 gold lead for Wild Inferno. And they are off to a roaring start here in Game 1.
Yeah, and you can see that in the experience and the gold. 3K difference for both. Very impressive so far from Wild Inferno. It was very even for a while, but these last couple of fights have been very decidedly in favor of Wild Inferno. The question becomes, obviously, can they keep up this pace? Can they keep up the map pressure? Farries wants to change that, gets another blue buff, make it 2. Big day for Farries, turning the luck around.
Yeah, another good invading. Camazot's an extremely safe solo laner. Doesn't have any defense built yet, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Oh, and speaking of builds, that's a Pythagorum's piece from Cthulhu. I don't know if we've seen that yet in this league, and I love that item. That's gonna help out the entire team. Although, kind of expect to see some different gods with that item, maybe a bit more lifesteal heavy, as Trebuchet should fall here in mid.
Yeah, there is a lot of contesting for this Trebuchet in mid lane. It's pretty close to falling. You may as well count it down for the count, and they're going to go the other way. But yeah, the Pythagorean's piece early is a mix-up, but it's a good mix-up for once. Normally when we say that, we're talking about something crazy we're not quite with. Oh, over in the solo, looks like Farries is getting quite low. Going to have to use that ultimate to get away from the giant Cthulhu, as you can see on your screen. King Eatzz, though, Eatzz, pardon me, does not want to give it up. Looking for a gank, even though Farries is under tower. What's Eatzz going to do here? Still trying to commit. Doesn't want to give it up quite yet, hanging on that blue buff. Midman's there, trying to discourage that gank. It's going to be good for now. PeerPressuree and Eatzz are going to have to walk the other way.
Yeah, they are, and I think that's a wise call. They have a really big lead. There's no use to kind of risk it foolishly. So I do like to see that out of Wild Inferno. But now, with that gold lead they have, they're going to expand it by getting Pyro. Wow. And these item differences, they make a huge deal early game, so I'd like to see a lot more aggression, and maybe going for, I don't say it often, but maybe picks over farm here could kind of snowball them a little bit in this game. But
yeah,
Life of the Afterparty, playing very safely.
And we do see Migii getting a slight lead on Nut in the duo lane. Hold that thought. Midman up into the air, looking to make good with this ultimate, but the blink comes out from Eatzz to get away from the slam of the hammer, and he's safe. Great blink there from Eatzz, now looking to re-engage onto Midman and Farries. Chris looking to help out. They're going to go for the blue buff invade, but Eatzz is still here. Here comes PeerPressuree as well. Fear no evil onto the blue buff. Going to be secured. Eatzz going to get away. Midman low. Going to fall to PeerPressuree, and Farries has to get out of there quickly as they could not secure that blue buff that was protected successfully by Wild Inferno.
Yeah, and that's a great ultimate there from Eatzz. Was able to secure the blue buff and kind of section off Midman all at once, leaving at the right time with PeerPressuree, cleaning it up. That is textbook defense there from Wild Inferno, and I think might open the door a little bit on that right-hand side. I think Farries was doing a really good job on those blue invades, kind of keeping things even, making sure that the Cthulhu doesn't run too far out of proportion, but now hopefully keeping that in check a little bit as jungle invades are going to be successful for Wild Inferno.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen that be the story with a lot of the premier teams, that the name of their strategy is entirely control the map and make the other team adjust to you controlling their side of the jungle. And in doing so, you kind of get to just roam about and free cast as you will, and the challenge for the team you do that to becomes, how can we adjust our play styles to protect our jungle and actually be able to roam and do things?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to do, and I think the one thing that goes with defending your jungle, as much as you hate for them to get a bigger lead, they're going to get an even bigger one if you step up too far, if you make a slip up. Now, speaking about stepping up too far, it's going to be an Oni Fury next, and this could be huge for Wild Inferno. That would catapult them to some of these early towers. It's Life of the Afterparty. They haven't seeded too much in the jungle. They still have all their tier 1 towers, except for Right, relatively healthy.
Yeah, and with that, we are going to get another pause coming out, so we'll have to hold those thoughts and bring them right back to you. We'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. back, and we've already got pressure going on in mid lane. Peer pressure and Pilot got knocked back by the meatball, and we're having a tough time getting away from it. Ultimately did not have to commit too far, though, so they're safe for now. Not the same cannot be said for Farries, though, as Eatzz has showed up, and it's a gank. Fear no evil, but Farries successfully gets out of it with the Camazot's ultimate, and going to be safe for now. Good response, and living life dangerously is not in the duo lane, but safe for now. Fights in every lane at this point of the game.
Yeah, and a lot of continued aggression from both Wild Inferno and Life of the Afterparty alike. And good job there by Farries getting out alive. And I think we talked about on the desk, Camazot's a really, really safe solo lane, hard to pin down. And great timing of the ult there, escaping the Fear No Evil. Oh, barely gets rooted though. And Chris of Cthulhu, I did not think Cthulhu would be keeping up with Camazot's this well.
Yeah, it's saying a lot for Chris so far, and it's going to matter a lot later because a healthy and tanky Cthulhu means a lot. Lone Wolf, though, tankiness cannot be the same so far. Going to get away low as Midman gets the Pilot over by the Fury. Will be enough for the kill. Double tap was falling quick, though. Lone Wolf safe under tower, was able to get away from peer pressure. So good victories there for Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, and that crit almost paid dividends there from Pilot, but good on Midman, knowing like where to fight, when to fight, and is able to lock it down. Gonna be locked down though. Oh, Eatzz getting this fourth.
The Vulcan ultimate was not enough to get Midman out of there, but peer pressure might be a different story. Farries wants it, pulled to the wall, will be enough to get away. Farries is gonna have to back off. Has bigger things to deal with currently in the form of Eatzz and Migii. Farries though still playing aggressive. Peer pressure still in the danger zone. Dropping fast. Migii gets the kill on the Farries. Cthulhu ultimate in the duo lane. Forget the solo lane. Pushing Life of the Afterparty back underneath their tower. Fear No Evil comes out, but only finds Lone Wolf. So Sehost and Nut are safe for now. And Wild Inferno's got to put their attention potentially on some objectives here.
Yeah, and it's a really good objective to put attention on. The Oni Fury. Always so important. We talk about it all the time, and it is melting fast. Kuzumbo gonna be zoned out by the Cthulhu, no chance. Now Wild Inferno, if I'm them, I'm backing, buying items, and running with those Oni waves down. The last wave just spawned, they still have about 10-15 seconds before the next one start pushing through.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a pretty significant XP and gold difference there, and that's exactly what you were talking about. You wanted them to see, wanted them to do with this Fury is build that lead up more, group up together, get full health, get full items, and take advantage and look for some picks. You've got a very demanding lead very early, not a very common theme we've seen so far. So use that advantage, run down the enemy team, keep them further behind, and they're going to sneak a Pyromancer now, just putting on even more pressure. Unless Lone Wolf can stop it, will be no good. So yeah, great team play, great calls by Wild Inferno. Gonna turn into a dead Lone Wolf, but here's the Vulcan ultimate. Not as much damage as you might expect. Lone Wolf still alive. The shell is enough for now, but not any longer. Eatzz is on a rampage. Gets the kill onto Lone Wolf. Tough time for Life of the Afterparty right now.
Yeah, but that was a really good job by Lone Wolf. I think kind of sectioning them off from that Pyro did open the door for their teammates in middle and duo lane to get rid of the Oni wave. So that's going to be huge in the long run for Wild Inferno. Same can't be said about the right side. That tower is in trouble. But nobody from Inferno gonna rotate. They're just gonna kind of let Farries clear all the minions out. Maybe a small oversight. Yeah, still no towers off the board for Inferno. Not what I expected to see off the Oni play.
Yeah, so far, you know, from our perspective, which we have a different perspective, we always like to remind of that, Wild Inferno made their first misplay, if not a teeny tiny misplay in the grand scheme of things. But could be something to watch regardless. We are starting to see the supports, and in this case Midman, get their second relic. So this is just a reminder that you cannot combine Aegis and Beads in this set. You can only pick one or the other, and Beads is the popular one, and we're seeing a lot of blinks as opposed to shell, which we saw earlier. Kind of surprised to see that.
Yeah, in first game, I think it was all shell, at least from the backlines. I think both of the junglers went blink along with Beads. So yeah, definitely an interesting mix-up to see, but I do like blink on some of these characters.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Oh, no, it has to be careful if they fall back too far. Here comes Eatzz.
Eatzz with the Fear No Evil, but oh, I was going to say Nut was on the end of it, but doesn't matter. Eatzz just absolutely deleted Nut with the help of Migii in the duo lane. Tough time to be Cupid there. Not a lot you could do.
Yeah, not very much at all. Eatzz almost did miss the Fear No Evil, but luckily has the damage to clean it up, and now Farries over here as well trying to chase him away. Gonna do that. And one relic we haven't talked about, it's a Sundering Spear from Vulcan. Oh, might have to
Oh, Midman lands down on 2. Gonna be enough. They shut down Eatzz. Big turnaround there for Midman, showing up at the perfect time. Did cost them the tier 1 in solo, as KingFsher is the solo laner, was hanging out in duo, but a great sign there of life from Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, seeing life from the Afterparty, from the current party. Definitely nice to see that turnaround from them. And yeah, and I think we did talk a little about Sundering Spear first game. As I get back to that, I think KFsher picked it up. Didn't see too much of an impact, and it's kind of interesting to me that they put it on the Vulcan. It's not really a mage or an ADC you associate with kind of getting close and being able to land that, whereas if you saw it on something like the Cupid, I think gets a lot more mixed up in it, has a really reliable bit of CC, so can kind of afford to get close to get that relic off. So if I'm Sehost, I want to make a lot of use out of that Sunder.
Yeah, we see that a lot. If you go a unique relic, and the same can be said if you see like an Ankh or a Frenzy or something like that, you really want to commit and get use out of it. The last thing you want to do is commit an entire relic slot to that, and it does not work out.
Yeah, and speaking of relic slots, I love seeing this from the Cthulhu and the Kuzumbo. It's 2 Shield of Thorns coming out in this game. That is a relic we don't see very much. I think probably, I mean, rightly so, mitigated to kind of the gods like that. But both are going to be able to find tremendous value, and the front lines are going to be hard to target on both sides. And with the prevalence of ADCs in particular, I think, for Wild Inferno, it's definitely a smart choice from Lone Wolf, but the mid tower is in trouble.
We do see a mid siege. Chris is here. Really cut off Farries. Lone Wolf took a lot of damage. Midman lands down onto Chris in the back. Vulcan ultimate. Who will it find? It's Pilot. Brought down below half health. Blink in. Fear No Evil onto Lone Wolf, but Eatzz took way more damage than he was expecting. And the double tap from Midman is good through the wall. Beautiful double tap there with the hammer. And that might be enough to calm things now. They can look for the trebuchet to try to calm down this siege. Another great play from Life of the Afterparty. They're slowly but surely getting themselves back into this game.
Yeah, they definitely are. That was a really great play by the Thor, and I think in combination with one more to just kind of CC lock that Hunbot's in there. Hunbot's not quite able to escape, and now the Gold Fury going to be open. It's not the same as an Oni, but I know I've talked about it a few times, but it does give the same effects that the Draugr used to, so those towers going to be a lot tankier. And here's the benefit of double ADC, that Fire Giant is swarming down.
Here's the blink in from Farries. Wild Inferno gets the Fire Giant at 20 minutes, and Migii gets the kill on the Farries, who was attempting to steal it. Great call by Wild Inferno. They get the Pyromancer for free as well. The objective control is back. A late ult from Sehost there, making sure to clear everybody up. Midman will save Sehost, though, with the nice wall to stun them out.
And that is a play I love seeing from Wild Inferno. I don't think we see it enough with the double ADC comps, but you do so much damage to objectives, especially with the crit coming off the Ishtar, that I think it's a really, really good call. But I think another thing we always talk about is doing something with the Fire Giant. Sure, it's a really nice gold swing, but that buff is so valuable. And I think we're kind of at the point in this game, given the levels of the players. On Wild Inferno, they're all above 18 with the exception of the support. You can really start running down these lanes, and it looks like right lane gonna be the target. 3 of them over here.
Ooh, another nice double tap. Get some good damage onto Migii to start this fight off. Might be something to keep in mind for the rest of this fight. They do have Fire Giant, though, so some nice heals will come out. Midman got poked out very heavily. Has to get out of there and quickly. So that tier 2 is going to fall. Nothing Farries can do about it.
Yeah, not too much indeed, but smart. Not trying to play life there as Wild Inferno are going to start finding some of the towers. I know I was talking earlier about maybe not getting action onto a ton of tier 1s, but now with just 2 T2s standing, Wild Inferno looking a great place. They're up 10,000 gold 22 minutes in. It was a close game at the start, but it's kind of spiraled the way of Wild Inferno.
And we have to see here, but I really want to see Wild Inferno continue this lead. Like you said, I want to see picks. Will the pick be Fairy, though? Dropping quick. We'll see how Farries gets out of this. Does have that ultimate available, and that'll be enough for Eatzz to have to back off. Chris, though, wants to keep chasing things down. Peer pressure's here, too. Farries, oh, the stun was not good. Could not pull Farries away.
Yeah, not quite. And I do like the attempt there from PeerPressuree to land the harpoon. Is Lone Wolf now in trouble, but that Kuzumbo is tanky. Pilot, not so much. Loses half health. But with that big Vulcan ult down, luckily, there's no real big objective to go for. It's just tower defenses, so I think Sehost just making a little bit of space. Speaking of space, Cernanos has plenty. Left side tier 2 will fall.
Yeah, and we're really seeing Wild Inferno handle this Fire Giant, this push well. They've really got full control of this game.
Yeah, they do. And now I think it's kind of become their game to lose through no fault of Afterparty. They're just, I mean, Inferno's playing this perfectly. All tier 2s are down, all Phoenix is exposed, and only 23 minutes in, Wild Inferno have a great chance here. And I like them not overplaying their cards. There's still about a minute and a half on the Fire Giant, but with no real opening, playing smart here and just farming.
Yeah, and that's kind of the tough part about getting leads like that. You have to really be careful with comms, because if you overextend too much, I mean, we see it. 16,000 experience, 12,000 gold difference, but one crucial mistake, and Life of the Afterparty could be right back in it. And we've seen they're really cleaning up their fights. I mean, they had a tough time defending there, but, you know, the Phoenixes are still up, and that's a dangerous team in Wild Inferno. Everybody's close to fully built already. Basically an item ahead in every role. So Life of the Afterparty is showing that they can hang on. The question becomes, will Wild Inferno make the mistake that Life of the Afterparty requires to capitalize? Farries got to be careful. Everybody's here from Wild Inferno. Again, does have that ultimate. Jump away from the pole. Safe for now. We'll see if Eatzz commits. He does not. I was looking for potentially a blink there, but nothing yet. Looks like everybody's safe.
Yeah, good job there from Farries. Not stepping up too far. Good situational awareness. I think, like you were talking about with getting too aggressive, maybe getting too cocky, I think discipline always comes to mind. Some teams, when they start to get a lead, they get excited, and they can make those small misplays, the over-aggressions. I think especially here in Premier, those are the type of things that get capitalized on so well, that even the smallest mistake is going to get them back in this game. 12,000 gold, it's a lot, but it can turn on the flip of a dime as Midman's luck might turn, burst it down.
Midman got caught out and got deleted by Pilot and company, and now Farries might be caught in the mid lane, but again, that ultimate is enough to discourage full commit from Wild Inferno, but Midman dropping there could be a sign, maybe not though, with Fire being down, probably a sign that Wild Inferno is going to try to set up early for this Fire Giant and really lock it down to prepare for contest from Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a struggle. I think it's something a lot of teams always kind of grapple with, and all of us are guilty of. When you contest objectives, when is it worth it to contest? When is it not? Because, I mean, let's face it, that Fire Giant is staying alive for maybe 5 seconds. If I'm Life of the Afterparty, it's not an EFG yet. I'm just letting this one go by the wayside and putting up a good Phoenix defense. We'll see what the call is. Camazotz is moving closer, but it doesn't matter. Wow.
Wow, that got deleted and quickly. Pyromancer, same story. Yeah, I almost, honestly, with the crazy secure they just had, I almost would have considered waiting. I mean, Life of the Afterparty really can't do anything. They cannot contest right now. They have to just play tower defense and see what they can make happen.
Yeah, and they are going to start that Trebuchet pushing down on left side for Wild Inferno, and they're doing the smart thing. They're not getting too far up. They're going to back. They're probably going to hit this Primal Fury on the way for a little bit more gold. Now, Life of the Afterparty, they have to pick their fights very, very carefully. If I'm Wild Inferno, I'm definitely splitting up the attack, maybe trying to hit left with 1 and mid with 4. That Trebuchet does a really, really good amount of damage. And a kind of unrecognized amount of damage sometimes. It's going to let them split push this very well if that's what they choose to do. But so far, it is going to be a massive siege on the left side, it looks like.
This is going to be tough for Life of the Afterparty to defend. And, you know, I was just going to say, I want to spit this out first. You are such a fangirl of the Trebuchet that if it ever gets a buff, I am concerned to see your face in response to it. With that being said, though, the siege is about to begin. Chris looking to lead the way. Hoombots is heading over to the mid lane, so a bit of what you're talking about. We'll see if he's just looking for a pick over there or if he truly is trying to push that minion wave all the right way in. Phoenix, though, healthy. No commitment yet from Wild Inferno, looking for an opening. Camazotz is there in mid to defend against the Hoombots. We'll see what the play overall is. Trebuchet's almost there. Probably waiting for that to get up. Double stun from Midman. Fields of Love comes out. That might be the chance for the Afterparty. Lone Wolf goes in, gets some good disruption. Earthshaker does some decent damage on Pilot, but it's healed so quickly. Fear No Evil comes out. Migii gets a kill. Midman does get a return kill on the Pilot. Sehost falls to crits. Double kill for Migii. Farries gets one on Eatzz. Everybody's dying. Camazotz, though, full health in the sky with ultimate. What can Farries do in this 1v3 to defend, if anything? Phoenix, though, still alive. They can't commit to the Titan quite yet. Might be enough to save the game for now for Life of the Afterparty.
It definitely is, I think. The Camazotz goes massive, but it's one Phoenix and not a second. The health bars are too low, but with minions pushing in on all lanes, Wild Inferno are still in a great spot, and with this minion wave, they're going to push in. They can get this second Phoenix. It is going to be a hard game for Afterparty to come back.
Oh, Farries gets deleted. It's a decide for Wild Inferno, and they're going to run it into the Titan. They've got minions, and they've got damage. And the only person left to defend will be Lone Wolf. We've seen this a couple of times this season. Game 1 goes the way of Wild Inferno.
It does, and in really convincing fashion, too. I know, the first few minutes we were saying, it's slow-paced, it's even, it's looking like a really good game, and Wild Inferno just absolutely snowball it. Great game from the Chaos side team.
Yeah, that was a... You know, we like to talk about our teamwork. We like to talk about the communication from teams and how they can make that play, because that really is what separates a competitive league from something like, you know, ranked or casual with the boys. And we saw that from Wild Inferno. The communication was insane. The team play was insane. Life of the Afterparty at a certain point did everything but give up. They grouped up in their Titan and just prepared to defend to play tower defense. It just wasn't quite enough this game.
Yeah, not enough, but I think they have a lot of really positive things they can build out to bounce back in Game 2. I think their solo lane pressure was very good. I think limiting their deaths as well, as much of a gold lead and as much a kind of a steamroll we saw from Wild Inferno, they didn't play bad at all from Life of the Afterparty.
Oh no.
Definitely a lot of solid mechanics and a pretty good team comp they should be able to build on in Game 2.
Yeah, I think it's tough to really look at what you want to change, because there wasn't much that wrong. It just kind of, things just didn't go their way.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. And you know, there are some games like that sometimes, as unfortunate as it is. But I mean, adaptation is key. I know I say it a lot, but the mental fortitude of these teams going into the Game 2 and the Game 3 is really something that separates the good from the great. But speaking of that, is there any big changes in terms of God picks or God bans you want to see going into Match 2?
It's kind of tough for me, because like I said, there wasn't too much wrong. I will say, as much as I liked the Kuzenbo, especially the call going Kuzenbo against double ADC, I do think that Lone Wolf has the skill of, if you put Lone Wolf on something more impactful that we've seen in the past, I think it could be a really big difference maker for Life of the Afterparty. I also, you know, I feel like I harp on him. I never mean to, of course, but I would like to see Midman maybe play something different. The Thor did not seem to fit the early play style of Midman. Late, he showed up, but there were a couple missed ultimates and a couple just rough luck scenarios for Midman that I think if he goes with a different character, he could really see those go the wayside and make a big difference.
Yeah, all small changes to switch up indeed, but we will see what of those changes they make and how they respond. As we throw it to a break, we'll be right back with game number 2.
We are back on the Smite Draft League. I'm still Anthony Malum. He is still KingFsher. And we talked about it a bit not too long ago, but we're looking for some changes here from Life of the Afterparty to really turn things around. But on the other end, Wild Inferno looking to do way more of the same.
Yeah, and I think for Wild Inferno, the name of the game again is going to be kind of Snowball Gods. Not really the stereotypical snowballers we saw from them last time, I think, but regardless, did really good getting an early lead and never dropping it. And on the flip side, Life of the Afterparty, I think a lot more early aggression is definitely the key. They didn't do horrible early game, but those small leads turn into big leads, turn into massive leads, and it's something you can't let happen again.
No, you really can't afford to. I think, and I talked about it a bit, I think if you put a combination of Lone Wolf on a more traditional support, not in the sense of what the character does, but more in what we've seen Lone Wolf play. Combine that with Midman playing something maybe that he feels like he has a little more control early on, and I think Life of the Afterparty could have a very different start to the game. They get a different start to the game. I think it's smooth sailing from there, at least in terms of contending with Wild Inferno.
Yeah, and I think it feels like we talk about Midman a lot because it seems like this team revolves a lot around the really good plays from Midman and Sehost. And I think that's a really good strategy to play around. I mean, the best components of your team are always going to set you up for success, and oh my gosh, it's a Giannis top pick. What on earth has happened?
I'm not entirely shocked to see a Giannis because I feel like Sehost God pool is so wide that they're kind of just have things that they pull out depending on the scenario they need, and they needed to change things up. So maybe this was maybe Sehost is taking the lead here, saying, all right, we need to mix things up. I'll take this Giannis out, and we'll have a completely different play style, and we'll see if they're prepared for it.
I mean, pretty hard to be prepared for a Giannis, you would think. Just offers so much value in terms of rotation. Maybe lacks a little bit of damage variety. I mean, all of his abilities, I think, are pretty hard to hit unless you're close range. But the ult through the wall is something I think we've seen Sehost do before. I think we have seen him on the Giannis ones. And it is a shocking amount of damage. And on the other side, again, it's a double ADC. Oh, Cupid and Cernanos, and those are two really, really good picks.
I do like taking the Cupid away. I think Migii had a great game, but I think we did see that Cernanos was kind of calmed down by the Cupid, and late game, the Fields of Love made it very difficult, at least for a moment, for Wild Inferno to get in and siege. But we do see a Geb come out. Ooh, is that a Midman Horus, though, instead? Horus gets locked in. Geb might have just been a distraction, but the Rama is hovered, and I've always harped on this. Rama is a hard difference maker.
Yeah, he really is, and I think Rama, one of those ADCs that's always in meta, always good. But yeah, and looking at it again, I think the Horus, I mean, we've seen it on Midman a lot to kind of a little bit of mixed results. There have been really good and really bad situations on the Horus from Midman, but I'm always optimistic getting him onto a pick that's comfortable. And I mean, when the Horus is on, it's on.
Yeah, 100%. We do see a Sasano, so we're just full of picks that we haven't seen too much of. The Sasano we've definitely seen a bit more than the Hoonbots, but ultimately I'm excited to see the Sasano. I do like it, assuming it goes to Eatzz. With the way Eatzz played Hoonbots, the way the rotations came out, giving Eatzz even more mobility could be dangerous for Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, who was hard to contest with in Game 1, he's going to be nearly impossible in Game 2. I think doesn't come with the raw crowd control that Hoonbots really does have, but maybe even more burst damage. The Tornado combined with the auto attacks and the pull is just, it's so much damage so quickly. And if you're not ready for it, it takes you by surprise. I guess that Cthulhu from Chris was impactful enough, as Life of the Afterparty are going to ban it away here in Game 2.
I think what they might be banning, and I'm obviously kind of spitballing here, but it felt like they were counting on Farries to do work on that Camazotz, because we saw the rotations come out that might suggest that. And Farries was never really able to, because the Cthulhu kept up with Farries the entire game. There wasn't a moment where either were too separated. So I think banning out that Cthulhu and getting a little more control on the solo lane from Wild Inferno could be part of the strategy here from Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, and I don't think much of that is really on Farries. I think did pretty good in solo lane. We talked a lot about like keeping even in levels, keeping even in farm, not giving up too much. But when it comes to team fighting, I mean, Camazot's not really the best at team fighting. That's kind of, you pick one target, they're dead, and then you just do nothing until you find another target. But I think if we can see Farries get on a little bit better of a late game god, one that's more central to the team, I think it could be huge for life of the Afterparty. By himself, he was really impactful, so I'd like to see what he can do on a little bit more of a conventional solo lane pick.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I am curious to hear your thoughts. What do you want to see from these last two picks from Life of the Afterparty? What do you think can round them out and give them a better chance in this game to try to take this to a 3-game set?
I think Farries kind of stole my thunder there, but I think aggression is definitely the key. With Giannis and Horus, just kind of pure rotation comes to mind. Really aggressive playstyles. Maybe not Rama as much, but with this Bellona, I think it kind of reinforces what the team's about. They don't want to sit back, play safe. They kind of want to make the plays happen and play at their own terms. And coming from last game, I think that's definitely the right move. Try to throw Wild Inferno off the roll a little bit and get off to more of an early game advantage, I think is definitely the right play call here from Afterparty.
Yeah, I definitely think you said it best there. I'm excited to see what this could be. It probably is a Bellona Osiris solo lane. I'm excited for that. That is old school as it gets.
Yeah, it really doesn't get older than that. Oh, and a Ganesh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I forgot Horus was jungle for a minute. I was like, oh, this is odd. But no, the Ganesh pick, not what I would consider the most aggressive support, but I know it is a pick that Lone Wolf really likes, and I get baited. Of course I do. It's a Terra now. That is an aggressive support.
I really like that with the rest of this team. Terra being able to get in there and set up the damage from Rama and Giannis late game, that could be insane for Life of the Afterparty. And if they find themselves in the back foot again, this team's defense is crazy.
It really is. And now with Poseidon Hover, I think they're just trying to mess with me again here. I mean, they already have the double ADC, unless they're planning on running an ADC solo, which, I mean, we've seen before. It's worked in this league. I forget who ran it. But they did it a few times and with decent success, but going over to the Mulan, I think that's a great pick for peer pressure if they do choose to lock it in. I think did very few things wrong on Mulan, and another one that can really kind of counteract the aggression on the enemy team with a lot of CC and displacement.
It is 5 physical, though, if we see that Mulan get locked in, which with a Terra and a Bellona and a Horus might be a bit questionable. We do see it switch to the RDO, so at least there's some magical damage there to speak of, but that tells me that might be RDO solo.
Yeah, it definitely... I mean,
tough.
I think the only problem with RDO solo would be
Osiris would be support. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are seeing Chris pilot the Osiris. Yeah, so now I gotta say, if I am on the side of Afterparty, I don't want to build a single defense item. That RDO is going to be pretty hard pressed to defend her team with how aggressive this Osiris is going to be playing. For me, it's straight physical defense across the board, and you're going to limit a lot of what those ADCs can do.
I will say, in terms of the team comp I prefer, I'm definitely going Life of the Afterparty here. So I want to see them take advantage of the team comp preference. I mean, there's good things about the Wild Inferno comp, but I'm just worried that we might see some unique builds come out from Life of the Afterparty that could really punish Wild Inferno going 4 physical with RDO being the lone magical damage.
Yeah, Wild Inferno definitely taking a bigger risk, but with bigger risks, there's bigger rewards. If this team does get an early lead and they find their footing, it is going to be catastrophic to deal with. So we'll just have to see how Afterparty is going to contend with the aggression from this Chaos side team.
I think you said it best, and I think when we get into game, the thing I want to look for right away, how aggressive is Life of the Afterparty being right away? Are they trying things different? Are they trying to push lanes out? If we see them be aggressive, I think they're coming in with a new mindset, ready to potentially take this game. But with that, we'll see you in game. Be right back on the Smite Draft League.
Even when you feel low, Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Is this the team comp that can make all the difference for life of the Afterparty? Or is this Wild Inferno's chance to run it back, even with 4 physical? I'm Anthony Malum. He is KingFsher. Let's do it!
Yeah, and I think, like you're saying, the 4 physical is the only part that I'm really kind of worried about in this Wild Inferno draft. I mean, they ran the double ADC last time, and it worked really well. But, I mean, if Life of the Afterparty itemized right, and I think if they play this early game a little bit cleaner, it's going to be really hard for them to get off to a roll here when they're so easily counterable.
Yeah, it's always a tough choice to make, too. On what do you do in that scenario? Do you alter builds? Do you stick with the game plan? I mean, obviously, late game, we're going to see a ton of physical defense on Lone Wolf, but for everybody else, is there unique things that you want to do to try to mix that up and punish the 4 physical?
You know, one physical item that I always love seeing on squishies, well, maybe not love, but I kind of like, the Breastplate of Valor. I mean, 20% CDR, 300 mana. It's a really, really good defensive stat stick. I think the only question is, what do you give up for it? I could see maybe the Giannis building that, getting down and dirty. Speaking of down and dirty, Chris in the grave.
Just what Life of the Afterparty needed as a first blood to change things up. Great for them.
Yeah, and I think last game there was a really big first blood bounty, so I think if that's any indication of it, it's going to be a really good game for Life of the Afterparty. And the kill going onto the Bellona too, keeping the Osiris behind, is going to be really good. I mean, last game, we noted how big of an impact Cthulhu had compared to the Kamazots, through no fault of the Kama. So if this Bellona can get to a lead, I think she can definitely make this Osiris pay, both early and late.
Sehost just got a kill onto Eatzz in the mid lane. Life of the Afterparty is not messing around in this game. They want blood. They want vengeance for all the issues in game number 1.
The alarm clocks finally rang, and this is the Life of the Afterparty team we are used to seeing. As a really good first couple of kills, and the aggression from Sehost, the early picks, it's what you love, did really good in the weeks prior to this. Nice seeing some retribution for the Vulcan. But on the other side, Wild Inferno kind of have the lead in duo again. Ardio out-pressuring the Terra.
Yeah, Wild Inferno has just had such good synchronicity in that duo lane. It's been very tough for Life of the Afterparty to get around it. I mean, good so far in surviving it, and we have a blue buff invade from Life of the Afterparty. They want to keep that aggression going. Can they secure it, though? Midman Farries here. Sasano on the other side, though, getting an invade on their blue buff. They do get it. They will lose theirs, though. No way they get there in time, so an even trade in blue buffs there, but some pressure coming out in the solo lane.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more pressure, though, from Wild Inferno. This Susanoo wants a speed buff, and he's gonna get it. Horus just sitting there at the Totem Q. How can Lone Wolf steal it away?
Oh, got it. Good save there, but what's the cost going to be? Giannis ultimate came in so quick. I didn't even realize Giannis hit level 5.
Yeah, that's a little wild.
Yeah, that was quick. Was not needed to save Lone Wolf, though. She was able to walk away on her own and be plenty safe.
Yeah, good job using the Hand of the Gods. A little bit odd from Sehost, but I guess not too consequential. Honestly, probably going to have that back up by the time most people hit level 5. So it isn't going to be too big of a deal. Now, Life of the Afterparty, 1,000 gold lead at 3 minutes, already off to a really good start. Just seeing this, look at Wild Inferno. They have health chalices galore. This team wants to fight early.
Yeah, a very... The strategy and the decisions were very clear from Wild Inferno. Their plan for this game is set in stone, and nothing is going to change it. But I guess my question for you would be, do you think that is a good plan that we're seeing so far with the 4 physical, the committing to the constant fighting, going the health chalices, or do you want to see maybe something else and then try to take a different approach?
You know, I think the draft kind of forced him into this, but it's a give and a take. Oh, is Lone Wolf dropping low? Does Heart Bomb have the stun? Yes, it does.
Gonna get to the tower, still alive. Basics no good for Migii so far. Lone Wolf gets away with some fancy footwork underneath that tier 1 tower.
But yeah, back to my earlier point, I think it's kind of good and bad. They're trying to do what they did well last game, which is really early aggression, a lot of picks and snowball. The only thing is that strategy is so clear now to Life of the Afterparty. They can build so much to counter it. I mean, Contagion, Emperor's Armor, the, oh gosh, what is it, Witchblade? Witchblade would be huge into double ADC, but they can do so much to kind of limit their game plan that it might end up hurting Wild Inferno more than it helps them, I feel.
Interestingly, we have seen that these two teams have swapped their blue buffs and who gets it. But now we're going to see Midman contest to try to save his speed. He blinks in for it. Ultimate from Susanoo in response. Going to get that speed buff away. Sehost is here, though. They want to clean up the Susanoo. Tries the backstep. It's no good on the Giannis ability. Midman trying to cut off Eatzz, though. Solo lane still duking it out. Farries is not rotated yet. There's the blink from Susanoo through the wall. Lone Wolf in the dual lane, falling low. Heart Bomb's on. Gonna die. Get to see the pretty back animation first, though.
Oh, well, almost did get that back off, but a little bit too late. As a Heart Bomb from Cupid does clean it up, and the first kill for Wild Inferno. 5.5 minutes in, not what we saw last game, but pretty good on this time. They've been losing a little bit of pressure there near mid and the solo lane, so nice to see them answering it back on duo. And a level 7 Giannis 5.5 minutes in. And I guess Cernino's matching him too.
Level 8 now. These mid laners are getting quite a bit of farm this game. Farries found Eatzz. I guess the chase continued all the way down. I thought they separated. Bologna was doing a back buff. It must have found Eatzz. Did use the ultimate and kills Eatzz over by his wall and the gate to their Titan there. Tough time to be Eatzz there in Susanoo.
And you know what's funny? I think that fight was still going on from when the Susanoo escaped the Horus. I don't think Bologna ever stopped chasing. I thought it was over when the blink on Horus was down. I'm like, oh, okay, Susanoo lives. Nope, not letting it happen this game. Eatzz falls for the second time, and we saw in the Hun bots a lot of really good early aggression. Great KD, not the case this game. Chris has to be careful. Totem Aku control, really harshly fought over.
Yeah, we did see Midman not get the greatest follow-up after the dash went wide, but there's 3 members here looking for Chris. Good wall from Lone Wolf. The ultimate from Chris in response, trying to get the blue buff, will not get it. Goes away with Life of the Afterparty. The rotations are here, though. PeerPressuree and Migii are both here. Midman, ultimate, trying to get out of there. Will be good. He's safe for now. PeerPressuree looking for Farries. Sehost is plenty safe, as we know from a Giannis. Eatzz, though, trying to cut them off. We'll see if he's successful in doing so. Turns around, finds Sehost in the jungle. Might have been slightly not expecting that. Purification beads in the portal. There's the tornado from Eatzz. Finds Midman. Sehost, though, still alive, but they want that kill. Gonna have to go behind the tower to back. Lone Wolf and Sehost do get out of there, though, but the jungle is gonna go the way of Wild Inferno.
I am so thankful we had that POV there. That was, I mean, picture perfect from the Susanoo, timing the dash just right, getting the good pull, and nearly taking out the Giannis with the Typhoon as well. textbook from that Susano. Now is a 2-level lead in jungle. Eatzz showing up again early. I know I was questioning it a bit, but with a massive play, gets himself back into it.
Yeah, and we were seeing life at the Afterparty. They took that control early we were talking about, but it might be slowly starting to slip away. We're seeing Wild Inferno catch up, and they have strong control over that right side of the map. Really just the experience difference is the favor of life of the Afterparty now. Pilot found in the mid lane by Midman, but no kill follow-up here. Plenty healthy is that Kernanos.
Yeah, Kernanos able to stay safe under tower, I believe, didn't have to burn any relics, luckily, and now PeerPressuree may be in trouble. It's a 4v1. If they can stop the Artio, it should be a guaranteed kill.
Should be, but the question is, will it be? Artio getting away. There's the cripple shot, does not stop. PeerPressuree did not hit, though, so they have to settle for the oracles, and PeerPressuree gets to walk away from 4 members of life at the Afterparty.
Yeah, PeerPressuree is going to stay alive. And we saw an 8.5-minute Gold Fury last time. Luckily, though, not as big of a lead for either team, so definitely off the table. Eatzz coming back in. Sehost is the target. Oh, nearly stuck out.
Gets away for now, but there's the ultimate. The portals are going. Tornado's chasing. Sehost, though, gets away. For a second, I was worried the cloud was stuck, but it is not. Although Midman is the victim, does not have the same mobility as Sehost quite does. So Midman does fall in the mid lane.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out. Midman not using the Horus ult. I think kind of wise to save it a little bit. It's good Rama ult to avoid the stun. Can you find some turnaround damage? Not quite.
Not quite. Some nice moves there from Migii. Get him away from the Rama damage, but good job by Nut there, avoiding a lot of damage in the soul lane, though. Eatzz is under the tower. Will that tower shot be enough? No, it's not. Eatzz was able to survive it, and PeerPressuree goes underneath that tower and picks up the kill onto Farries, piloting the Bologna. Pilot, though, in the mid lane, caught out with Lone Wolf. The stun's not good. Bit of a toxic maneuver there by Pilot, but dodged it nevertheless. Eatzz, though, getting chased through the Fire Giant den. Got to be careful. Fire Giant is going to spawn. Is safe, though. Good rotations there from Wild Inferno to secure the kill on Farries. Rough it went to the Artio, but good overall.
Yeah, definitely. Lucky thing, Eatzz out of that Fire Giant pit when it spawned. I played Slash for the first time a few days ago. Figured out Apophis insta-kills you when he spawns, so that was really fun figuring out what did 1,000 damage to me. Now Migii trying to get off this purple invade is going to get it. We're seeing this Cupid keep the aggression up, and if you're a Wild Inferno fan, that's what you like to see. The game hasn't been as big of a benefit for them as it was the last time around, but they are keeping aggression in some places. Not varying from the game plan much is exactly what you want to see out of this Chaos side team.
Yeah, they've turned it around. It's back to a similar story. I mean, the experience in the gold might not show quite that, but the feel of this game, we talk about that a lot, has totally changed to going Wild Inferno's way. A lot of damage, though, on Eatzz from Sehost. The ultimate hits, too, but Eatzz is still alive. There wasn't quite enough damage yet. Midman and Lone Wolf looking for PeerPressuree. Midman splits off to try to hunt down Eatzz. We'll see if it's more of the same from what we saw earlier with the Bologna. There's the blink from Midman. The stun, the damage is good. Eatzz falls. Now Midman, though, stuck with PeerPressuree and a full health Pilot. There's the Aegis. Not enough for Midman. It's going to fall to Pilot. Nothing Farries could do there.
Yeah, unfortunately. The 1-for-1, though, honestly, I mean, when you're behind, that's a trade you want to take. Yes. Not behind a ton, but a little bit. And I think limiting that Susano is good. Had a lot of impact. Nut into the skies. Doesn't avoid the damage, though.
Does take damage. We'll see what Migii does. Waiting for Nut to come down. Nut's one basic away, and Migii hits it. You know what that means? You got soloed. Nut Migii gets the kill on the Cupid.
Good kill there from the Cupid, and a really good god at 1v1s, especially in that duo lane. I think Rama kind of struggles a little bit without a team. He doesn't have many abilities, it's just better auto and more attack speed. So the heart bomb there from Cupid, along with the Fields of Love, doing a ton of work for the ADC. And he is going to remain with that 1-level lead. And we'll see if maybe a tier 1 tower on left. There's only one tier 1 missing right now, and it's for Wild Inferno, so good of them if they can even it up, and it looks like that is going to be the play from Cupid.
Yeah, nice minion wave there. Nobody can test it. Rama probably won't get there in time. Good move there by Migii.
Yeah, and looking at the builds a little bit, I like what we're seeing, the Fabulous Hoops out of Ardeo. Everybody knows I love that item, never gonna hate that item. And on the other side, we see the Emperor's Armor, like I wanted, and I think that's good from Afterparty. They were playing on the backseat last game. If they are this one, it's a good item to have. But Witchblade, gonna be built by the Osiris, not the team I was expecting it on.
Yeah, I don't know if Osiris knows which team he's on build-wise, but good item regardless. It's just we were looking for it against the 4 physical. But, I mean, it's a good item overall, though. The purple buff did go the way of Wild Inferno, so they continue their dominant map control, and now looking to pull the Gold Fury. Lone Wolf Midman are here. Sehost on the way. There's the ultimate. They let it go at the perfect time, though. Nobody took any damage from Sehost's ultimate. Midman does take a portal, trying to get a good position, but will not find it, so they're successful in getting Wild Inferno off of that Gold Fury, but nothing else, really.
Yeah, and you lose out on your objective secure with that Yon Assault, but I think definitely good, at least delaying the Gold Fury call a few more minutes. Oh, and now going back to the Witchblade, it is being built by Bologna, and I guess I can see why by Osiris it's very good into Bologna, especially considering that Berserker Shield. You should see a lot more value. Sehost able to get away. Eatzz in trouble. Eatzz is dead.
Each just got blown up by Midman in response for going in. Midman, though, taking everybody with him, going to land on Pilot. We'll see how much that does. They're full sending for this kill on Pilot. They have the Emperor's Armor to protect them from the Titan. Pilot down to 1 HP. Wolf, though, did get stopped. Going through the portal, though. Pilot's still alive. They did not get the kill on Pilot. Farries coming around the back, trying to secure it. Going to ult in. The ult isn't good either. Pilot's still alive. Somebody kill Pilot. Fields of Love comes down. Farries is stuck in it. Midman found Pilot. Pilot died. Let's go. Chris gets Farries, though, in response. This might be tough for Life of the Afterparty. They are caught out. Ooh, but Seals just blew up Migii with the help of Midman, but Midman's falling low. Will the heals from Terra be enough? No! Chris has a double kill, gets the kill on the Midman, and now it's a 3v2 in the mid lane. Sasano's got a speed buff to do.
Yeah, Susanoo should be able to get that off, and Sehost doing a lot of damage. I guess Book of Thoth and Spirit Deso, you know, hurts a little bit when you're 2 feet away from Giannis. Getting some serious damage in there as we do see him top the charts. Now, really good call for a Pyromancer. King Eatzz has a Typhoon. Can he steal it? No, way too early.
Way too early, and they let it go at the perfect time, but this might be enough to get a kill onto Lone Wolf. It is. Eatzz with the fancy auto resets we all know and hate gets away after killing the support for Life of the Afterparty, and now they're going to pull the Pyromancer. Still had lost some health from Life of the Afterparty. It's down. It's gone. Wild Inferno turns it around and gets the Pyromancer for themselves.
Yeah, and as much as this game kind of feels like it's a lot more even, or maybe even one team's ahead, it's very back and forth now. Only 1,000 gold lead for Wild Inferno. And at 15 minutes in, that's nothing. That's a sentry ward for each player, and that's pretty much it. So I think if you're a Life of the Afterparty fan, you got to be really happy with your performance so far. But one thing I'm looking for, we saw it last game, Wild Inferno with the double ADC was very effective on those objectives. No reason to believe they're not going to be this game, especially with the play calling. If I'm the Horus, if I'm the Giannis, I'm looking to steal away a lot of these neutral objectives and really make sure you limit the damage. And speaking of neutral, Gold Fury going to be pulled.
Here we go. It's a Gold Fury pull. What will Wild Inferno be able to do with it? It's dropping fast. Here comes Midman on the Horus ultimate. Wild Inferno picks it up despite the best efforts from Nut on the ROM. Migii gets a kill onto Lone Wolf. Sehost ultimate comes out just in case anybody needs to get out of there. But they're going to lose their support and lose on the Gold Fury.
Yeah, an unfortunate layer for Life of the Afterparty as the lead now grows to 2,500, and it's been 1 minute. So, not the greatest turn in the world, but I think definitely smart to contest this. This is what you got to be scared of if you're going against Wild Inferno. I think we said on the desk, we said in the early game, this team comp is built for snowballing. I mean, it's a small lead, but it's a lead. And if I'm Life of the Afterparty, you have to make sure it doesn't grow into anything bigger.
I think the most dangerous thing right now from Life of the Afterparty is that Giannis, level 16, doing tons of damage, tops the charts right now with 12,000 at 16 minutes. If you're Wild Inferno and you want to shut down the damage to Life of the Afterparty, it's pretty simple. I mean, Bologna's doing a lot, but take out that Giannis and it's smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, and speaking of doing a lot, when we look at this Life of the Afterparty team, this Terra is going to be near impossible to kill come late game. I mean, Emperor's Armor, Lotus Crown Benevolence, building in what I would expect is a Spectral Armor, and with the ultimate too, you're not killing that support. I mean, it's... Lone Wolf is going to find an insane amount of value. And if I'm on Life of the Afterparty, I want to play around what Lone Wolf is comfortable with, let her engage, let her pick these fights, and it's definitely the way to win.
Yeah, Lone Wolf can kind of just stand there and take everything. It's going to take a lot, even from the double ADCs. It will take a lot to kill that Terra, because Terra is not that far behind, so nothing that crazy to speak of. Nut is getting collapsed on in the dual lane, going to fall to Migii. Midman was there with the ultimate, going to commit though with it. Drops down, looking for some damage onto Eatzz, cannot find it, dropping fast. The three members turn onto Midman this time. Midman's still alive, Eatzz under the tower, goes through the portal, gets the kill, but dies on it. Sehost is here, and Sehost is doing damage. Gets some good damage on the pilot, too. Sehost able to stay back safely behind that Terra, who is basically unkillable at the moment. Some more good damage comes out on Migii. That Giannis is dangerous right now.
Dangerous he is, and as much as I hate Midman went in there, I don't hate the idea. Maybe thought his team was going to get there a little bit quicker than they did, but able to refrag out onto Eatzz, who's having another great game. I think is definitely a good move. Now Wild Inferno, they can't really do much off that play. They can't get a tower, they can't get a purple buff, so great job on Life of the Afterparty, showing up and mitigating the damage.
Yeah, 100%. It's been plain and simple this game. Wild Inferno has map control, objective control, but Life of the Afterparty consistently shows that they can defend, and that if you make the slightest mistake, the slightest misplay, they're going to capitalize. The question, once again, same question as game number one. Will Wild Inferno make that mistake for Life of the Afterparty to capitalize on?
Yeah, and they didn't make it game one, but hopefully if you're a Life of the Afterparty fan, they're going to make it game two. It's a much more even game, so I think there's definitely a better chance for Afterparty to kind of answer with the big play. My eyes immediately go to the levels. Last game there were a lot of 3-level leads and stuff like that heading into late game. It's very even now, maybe 1 to 2 across the board, but that's not a big deal, especially with the team comp. I mean, Giannis destroys people, Terra's tanky, Rama does an insane amount of damage with crit. Talk about damage. Cupid in trouble.
Oh, and the blink on Giannis is our favorite thing. Migii, though, has the shell. Rom ultimates are not good. The last shot didn't hit, but they've got Emperor's Armor. They got all the time in the world. Midman's here, too. Lone Wolf gets a slam on the Migii. Migii's going to fall to Midman. Now PeerPressure's here. Eatzz is here. Kurnos is on the way. Everybody's here. It's a party in the duo lane. Nut getting a lot of damage put forward from Osiris. Still alive, though. Going to fall. Osiris gets the kill onto Nut. Sehost hanging around, trying to do damage to Eatzz, but has to keep so much spacing in order to stay alive that he can't help as much as he might be able to with all that damage.
Yeah, and speaking of damage, can we just get an appreciation for the Giannis a second? So much damage onto the Cupid. Made that play, although the play on the other side, Life of the Afterparty dropping low. Wild Inferno hit the gas.
They hit the gas, and it's moving quick over there, but Farries might be the one caught out now. Lone Wolf got cut off by the wall. Eatzz coming around the corner, too. Got to play it safe. Midman hanging out. Sehost looking for the re-engage opportunity, but before he can even find the re-engage, Farries is dead. Lone Wolf, though, getting some nice three-man stuns. Midman heads over, trying to do what he can, but that might have been the end. It is. Chris gets a kill onto Midman. Lone Wolf left alone. Sehost could never find that opportunity to re-engage, and that's around 3 fights in a row now that have been commandingly going the way of Wild Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate Midman trying to go over the wall, heal his teammate. I would have liked to see an immediate Horizon out. I don't think you're outrunning his Susano, so maybe a small misplay, but does keep the Bellona alive. Oh no, Bellona actually ended up falling. Never mind. I was gonna say the good thing though. Giannis has his ult up. Some players got out alive. There is a chance to seal this FG, and there goes the Giannis ult. Is it gonna be time? No!
Oh, just a second too late. Almost perfect from Life of the Afterparty though, but Wild Inferno does get the fire. They get the pyro on their way out. Another tough turn of events for Life of the Afterparty. Their luck has just not been there this game. Things are just ever so slightly off kilter, and that's just been enough for Wild Inferno to kind of run away now.
Yeah, and it is back up to a 6,000 gold lead for Wild Inferno, but it ain't 12,000, and the levels are looking a lot better. I think the biggest problem I can see for Life of the Afterparty here is between the jungles. I mean, the Susano is 4 levels up, and the Susano has been having a lot better teamfight. I don't think Midman not being level 20 is hurting the build a little bit, not being able to be as aggressive as he would like on that pick. Speaking of aggression, needs to get out of there. And he is gonna. Susano and Stern not gonna chase. And one other thing I wanted to point out before all the action happened, the fact that you can't build Beads and Aegis opened that Giannis up to take Blink as his second relic. And I think that's great for the way Sehost is playing. He's aggressive, he's playing safe, and he's helping to keep his team in it. I love seeing the aggression out of this mid laner.
Yeah, I think Sehost has been the thing keeping Life of the Afterparty afloat. The damage has just been so consistent and so impactful. I am curious because with how far behind Life of the Afterparty is starting to become, mostly in terms of levels, if nothing else, these base defenses are going to be a bit more difficult than we saw last time. Farries having a great time in the solo lane, though, proxied by the Phoenix, just living his best Bologna life, but probably needs it back as the base siege looks to be beginning with the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Really, what can Life of the Afterparty do but try to hang on as best they can and look for picks where they can find them? Tower's going to drop fast enough, though, that they're going to back off and look to defend the Phoenixes.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart call. I mean, Wild Inferno have 5, they have all ults, they have all relics, and they're 5 strong. You have the Bologna missing, so definitely the right call to wait for the Phoenixes. The only tricky thing is Wild Inferno have the Fire Giant around their belt. It's going to need to be a really good defense because they can afford to siege extremely aggressively. Speaking of aggressive, they try to find a pick onto Chris, but Chris loses 50 HP at the most.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to do really any damage, though, Cyrus, with the mitigations that we're seeing, not only just from the character itself, but the build as well. It's a tough task. Almost as tough as killing the Terra, which, by the way, is getting even further down this build of being unkillable. Combined with the Emperor's armor, I think we'll see Terra be the last one to fall if the Phoenix Sieges do begin, because that build is so tanky.
Yeah, and it looks like itemizing, I wouldn't expect it's another Witchblade. I don't think the auras stack. I might be wrong, but maybe it is going to be a Witchblade, maybe a little bit separated. Oh, I guess the auras do stack. Okay, if that's true, that is going to be massive for this team if they can afford to stick together, because look at the relics from the Terra also. With the Belt of Frenzy and the Med Cloak does a lot for a team in close proximity. There's a Berserker's Emblem also from the Bologna. I mean, this team has every tool they need to put up really good base defenses.
Yeah.
So maybe the fact that they're on the back foot isn't such a deal breaker as it was in Game 1.
Yeah, and we do see, if there's something I can point out that I've liked a lot from Life of the Afterparty in both games, they make the call and they commit to the call that, all right, we cannot get pushed out anymore. Let's back, let's group, let's defend these Phoenixes the best we can. Maybe look for a pick here and there, but not commit too crazy, as Farries might be considering it. I hope not. Gonna go for the support buff just to clear that up. Probably trying to hit level 20. Bit dangerous movement, but yeah, overall, I just like to see Life of the Afterparty fall back and at least communicate.
Yeah, definitely communication is key, and I think leaning on what's worked is also going to be pretty big for them. Sehost is top damage, Farries isn't far behind, and these two are playing lights out despite being on the losing end. I think we talked about early letting Lone Wolf pick the fights. I think maybe at this point it kind of transitions over to where the Bologna can find a lot of aggression, be able to find value. And the Giannis can absolutely 100-0 everybody on that team. I'm looking to set him up great with some Bologna stuns. And Bologna built with Spectral Armor. She wants to dive these backliners fast. I think Cupid in particular, as Cernanos does not have crit, just instead trying to burst down tanks with those Kinsai's.
Yeah, going the crit build here from the Cernanos, probably a good choice considering how much physical defense is going to be built from Life of the Afterparty. But Cupid did opt to go the crit route. Do you think that's going to hurt the Cupid's damage going to the late defense here?
I don't really think so. I like crit on Cupid. I like crit on a lot of hunters. Maybe if it was the only one, would like to see that traditional build with Kinsai's against the takes, but the fact that they have 2 ADCs, I think frees up Cupid to do a lot with this build. If that's the way he's feeling, definitely really good. I think this game, he's been going on to the backline a lot more than he has the front line. I think they've been relying on Pilot for that with the positioning. Now the Fire Giant is going to be the call. It's not enhanced. Life of the Afterparty don't have to contest, but maybe a Rama or Giannis will either be too late. That is a quick Fire Giant.
Nut did go up into the Rama ultimate just to take a peek and see what could be done. Can't go through yet. Farries goes through the portal, takes a lot of damage on the way out, and Midman gets caught out, gonna fall to Eatzz, and that is gonna be all it takes for Wild Inferno to begin this Phoenix Siege. They are up 5-4. Eatzz going around the side. Sehost ulting through, finds Migii, but gets absolutely deleted by the Cupid. Pilot gets a kill onto Lone Wolf. And with that, the tank is gone. Things are looking bad for Life of the Afterparty. Eatzz gets a kill onto Nut. It falls down to Farries to fend everybody off. Will they commit for the end? They are going to commit for the end. They have a lot of damage with it. But first, they want to kill Farries. How far can Farries make them chase, though? Taking a lot of damage from Eatzz. They're going to go back to the Titan. And from here, it's smooth sailing. Easy victory for Wild Inferno come late game here. Farries can run around all he wants. It won't be enough to stop them. Wild Inferno takes this set.
Yeah, they do in another really convincing fashion. We saw them with a massive lead in game 1, and it was a lot more slow sailing in game 2, but they are able to close it out at the end of the day, and they do it in great fashion. Again, I know we talked about the snowball potential and seeing how that double ADC comp could absolutely run it down, and at the end of the day, that is what happens. Just a little bit too much damage for Life of the Afterparty to contest with.
That was not an easy task to try to defend there and hold on to try to get a win in that game. But ultimately, they did everything they could. It just wasn't enough. Wild Inferno just had too much pressure at the end there. Ultimately, I think Life of the Afterparty did not quite play anywhere near as bad as the scoreboard and the feel of the games might make it seem. I think this tends to be your thing to say, but I think there's a lot of positives the Life of the Afterparty can look at from this set going forward.
There definitely are, and I think the one that really comes to mind for me is comfortability. It didn't look like being behind was affecting them a whole ton. They didn't make bad calls, they didn't really make any too bad of plays, just maybe not assertive enough in their early game, translated a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not a horrible set for them. On the other hand, it is a great set from Wild Inferno, one of the most dominant showings we've seen this season.
Yeah, and it was interesting because we were kind of less so the first game, but definitely the second game, we were not the biggest fans of their team comps. We were kind of more fans of Life of the Afterparty, especially with the 4 physical in this game. But it worked out. We saw it benefit them for the objectives getting burned. We really saw them take advantage of it early to do a lot of damage in those beginning fights. And it really, I'm surprised at how well it worked out.
I am too a little bit, and the one thing I always love about the double ADC comps, even if I don't like the comp itself, they have so much aggression around those objectives. I mean, the towers fell, the fire giants had 0 chance for Life of the Afterparty.
They went so fast.
Yeah, and having that kind of just ability on your team really opens the door to play a lot more aggressive than you normally would, and you don't get punished as much.
Yeah, and I do want to talk quickly about player damage, because that did seem to be something that was lacking for Life of the Afterparty, but it did not lack in Sehost department. Looking for the positives from Life of the Afterparty, one of the biggest positives I can think of is Sehost on that Giannis.
Yeah, and I think if we're looking at something that Life of the Afterparty have to improve a little bit, I think maybe picking their fights. There were a lot of times where they got caught out in the jungle, and I think we saw it with Farries and Midman a little bit more than most. I mean, not totally a terrible thing, but I think sticking together as 5, especially at a disadvantage like they were, is going to open the door to them in weeks to come. But they're a good team. I definitely think they can make those changes and be one to reckon with going forwards.
Yep, and alongside that, though, just to mention it one more time, Wild Inferno has shown that when everything's clicking for them, they are a team to remember. They're dangerous to mess with, and they can absolutely blow you up. But with that, we are going to leave you here on the Smite Draft League. Make sure you join the Discord if you want to start getting into these games, be it Premier or Challenger. We play free agent games. We have community tournaments. We have everything you could possibly want. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, you follow the Twitch, do all the things you normally do, because there's a lot of content and a lot of games on the way. I've been Anthony Malum. He was KingFsher. We had iNooblet on production, and we'll see you next time on the Smite Draft League.
Taking shots at the enemy, I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with